Good morning. It's the next day, and that couldn't have worked out more perfectly, I don't think. That thing burned hot. I went to bed at 10:30, and it was still glowing pretty good, but it was also raining pretty good. But it burned down really well, and I think, look at those stumps that are remaining. Those were huge. So that worked out good. And the yard's starting to look kind of like a yard, not a pot farm. All right, today, still thinking about this thing, and I'll give you one quick example of why this is driving me nuts. Okay, this is the effluent or the smoke out of this, obviously the fireplace. And I got one of these, which I think will work well close to it. But you see the little arrow there? Exhaust fan out. Now I know why I keep pointing this camera in the wrong direction. The display keeps going out. Anyway, air goes up. And this took a lot of thought, which it really shouldn't have. But air goes up, and that goes in there, and that gets pushed in. So the next pipe goes in this one as well. So the females point up and the males point down. And this is where this was killing me, because this goes on, this is on the roof, so this part is pointing down. So that's supposed to be, what did I just say? Males point down. And what I was trying to do was to get this in here, and it wouldn't go. And I was measuring it, and it's kind of hard to measure because this is flimsy. But that was the big realization. I hate to admit this, but so females point down. And that means that this guy goes just like that. It actually does fit. I thought I needed another dang adapter. And the reason why they do it that way, I'm fairly certain, is that if any water does get on the inside of the pipe coming down, so if the females are on the outside, the males are on the inside, and that means the water makes it all the way down into the fireplace, which I think makes sense. It didn't make sense to me at first because, the smoke's coming up, and that's what you're thinking you're trying to capture, and you would want the fittings the opposite way so that the smoke can't get out. So that kind of makes me think, considering all the gaps are open to air as the air is going up, I probably should look or investigate sealing these a little bit as well. Anyway, that took way longer than it should have to figure out. So where I am now is 245s, of course, less restriction than 290s. And if I run them close, where there's the 45s actually connect to each other, I think that's somewhere around 8 inches of an offset, which I don't think is going to center this. Figure the center of this one is around there. It's kind of hard to tell, huh? And that one's around there. But it looks like it's somewhere around 10 inches from where it used to be to compared to where it is now. Which means this would be another 2 inches over, which, puts the center of it about here. And I think that's going to be fine. I'm not going to worry about that. That way I don't have to put a piece in between the two 45s. I can just have them close, and then I just adjust where the stove goes, so it's vertical on the stovepipe. The other thing to consider is, which I just realized this morning after I made my second hole, this corner here pulls out into the room to about here. when the slides are closed. And luckily I have about 1.5 inches clearance between that corner and the stovepipe as it goes up in there. So that's good. I got lucky there. But luckily that I realized this, or woke up a little bit. That's right now it's a little over 5 inches, 5¼ inches or so from the ceiling. So that's got to clear across this box. And also, when this thing is moving, it does a lot of tilting. So the first thing I'm going to do is just run this slide in and see the closest it gets to the ceiling, and then I'll cut this box down so it's above that. And that's where I am right now. First I thought we'd come out and take a look at the aftermath. This thing was barely smoking this morning. As soon as it started to rain, it started steaming. And that's what's left. That is still pretty solid, but a lot more manageable looking. And this whole area definitely cleaned up a little bit. Alright, I just wanted to brought you out here because I was going to close the slides in, but they've been out for a couple months. I just wanted to come out here and make sure I didn't have anything leaning up against it or anything. And my sewage tank is floating again. I've decided how to repurpose this, by the way, just in the short term. It's my garbage can. I was throwing my plastic stuff, the stuff I couldn't burn, in the back of the trailer, and the squirrels, and I'm not sure what else, but something fairly big, because it's the way it was manipulating the trash. I was tossing it all over the place. Now I can just stick my trash in here, and next time I get an excuse to go to the dump, probably when I take that homeless shelter out at the front of the property, I can just toss my 2 or 3 bags in there and I get my son to pay for it. Here's my floaty. Alright. It is definitely still empty-ish. It's only got 1 dump in there. Okay, nothing's in the way. Back inside. Oh, I also wanted to show you this umbrella. It's not very big, but I needed one because my other one broke. But this one is, I don't know if you can see it. It folds the opposite direction. So there's I'm not maybe you could tell me. For some reason I kind of like it. I bought it because you can just hook it to your wrist, so you can use 2 hands when needed. But it's definitely about 1 or 2 sizes too small. And while I got you on, because I got nobody else to talk to, this is a struggle. You can see right there, I went against Rule 1, which is putting muddy feet on any of these steps. But this is how hard it is to get. I mean, if that stuff wasn't dirty, it would have been a lot easier. Now I gotta put that foot on a dirty step. And when you go inside and outside 100 times, because you keep forgetting stuff, it's a pain in the butt. You got to come up with a better solution. Keeping mud out of the trailer is important. this little shelf that I took out from the inside might end up getting mounted there. There's a fairly good chance of that. I like that. Alright, back inside. Okay. Two things I want to look at. Make sure my diamond plate doesn't scrape that whole thing or get yanked off the wall as soon as I pull that in. That is a little bit tighter there than I wanted it to be. So I'm going to keep you focused on that first. Let's see if that just rips off the wall. Cleared. All right, I think, see how this whole thing, I don't know if you can see it, it kind of tilts this way when it comes in, and then it settles down, and it does the opposite on the way back. But I thought there was going to be more fluctuation there. I don't think there is. Let's just measure it in this spot here real quick. Five inches still. That was the sound of Elon Musk hitting the ground. Every time I pulled these slides in and out, I got his cable going up and over that. And sometimes I forget and yank it off the wall. Alright. I think we're good. Okay, so it's not changing that much. I'm probably going to have the reveal to play it, say, 4 inches, and it should give me an inch clearance. You also notice that this roof goes up. It's on an angle, so my cut probably has to be, I have a little bit more side wall on this side than I do on that side, but not by much. Okay, I gotta hopefully pick up my floor cover today at Home Depot, and I've got a notice today that my rubber boot to go over the pipe, the chimney going out the top, isn't going to be here till next Saturday. So this is going to be kind of on hold for a while. And the next thing on the hot list, which should have been done a long time ago, is a place to dry wood that is prepped to come inside for level 2 drying. So I need a rack for the inside, and I need something for the outside to stack, maybe a cord of wood. I've got a lot of wood, of course, that's on the ground, and so a lot of it's off the ground, and it's been seasoned for 3 years or more probably. So I probably also need to come up with some way to keep it somewhat dry when it's getting near it's going to be burned for the year stage. Anyway, not a whole lot going to get done today, so I will. I got this out and tried it today. It's my Ozonator. I'll give you a little demo of that real quick while we're at it. It's kind of funny that it got this far all the way to being sold in the United States, and that's what they came up with off. Thought that was pretty good. It's definitely effective. Like I said, I was in the water business, and I'm very familiar with ozone, and it's not good to breathe. But real quick. And I had my first glass of water today. This is just, 2-stage filter. Nothing special water. But there's nothing to stop it from sending bugs my way. So you get your water, and I'll be doing this with like a pitcher of water. Toss this guy in here. It'll be in the bottom of the picture. I don't really know how this thing works yet. But let's just push buttons. Oh, that's some kind of a mode, I think. It doesn't actually start going till you do that. But that's ozonating that water, and that's doing a pretty good job. And you can smell it here pretty quick. But when you go to turn it off, it keeps running for some reason. I don't know why. Because it's got a purge or something. But when I do a pitcher of water, I want to do it outside or something, because that is not good fumes to breathe. It will kill anything it comes in contact with that's organic, including brain cells. Alright, if anything else interesting comes up, well, the next thing coming up is I gotta trim that thing down, and I probably should add, and I will, since I said it out loud, unfortunately, a couple of boards there to frame that all the way around, so I'm not just nailing it there and there. I can nail my box on 4 sides. So that's probably today. Quick side note, the advantage to this umbrella is that the water's on the inside. So when you bring it inside, it's still going to drip, but you can hang it up somewhere and it's not going to get the wall dirty or wet, I guess. So, kind of like it. All right, let's try that again. I got it, the power set all the way back. Definitely driving these nails all the way through. Okay, I can't mount the box until I make a hole in the roof, because I gotta mount it obviously from the top. So, and I don't want to put that wood in right now to finish my box off, because I have my framing nail gun coming this week. Once I get it, then I'll put those two in. So I'm just going to clean up. Shouldn't be a whole lot of mess from the ceiling. Well, cutting the roof, there'll be a mess. That's right. Just going to clean up and we'll go from there. All right, going to have music playing. Mute this, fast forward.
This is my brand new song.
That part's done.